Okay, welcome. Drink with James, episode 71. Tim and I are in full-blown concert mode. This is like fucking North Pole, Santa's workshop, a week before Christmas. All the elves are working overtime. We're killing ourselves over here. But the brand conference, which is next week, and the influencer conference, which is the 24th in LA, are looking insanely good. We have a lot of, we've added a bunch of speakers to both conferences. So if you haven't checked out the site in a minute, go check those sites out. Take a look. If you are a brand person and you're watching this, the conference is tomorrow. So you should probably hustle up. We're almost sold out there. Influencers, there's still plenty of tickets, but they went pretty quickly last time. So jump on it early, come visit, come hang out. We're gonna have cocktails the night before. It's gonna be obviously a 4-card event, so it's gonna be fucking lit and amazing and so much fun. So yeah, if you haven't come to a conference or if you haven't, one of our conferences, you should definitely come. If you've been, roll through. We wanna see you again. Any questions, send them directly to me. My email address is over here. But if you watch this show, you know, this show is the entire motivation for doing these conferences. And the reaction to this show is the reason we did them. I didn't sit around saying, what's a really annoying way that I can make money? Oh, I'll fucking do conferences. No, like they're a massive pain in the ass. We're doing it because there seems to be a gap in the market. Y'all seem to like this content. There seems to not be a lot of people speaking honestly. That's what we're trying to do, both on the brand side and the influencer side. So we hope to see you. Let us know any questions you have. I will answer them and sell you on why you should come. So email me. Okay, let's move on to questions. So is there any value in promoting your Instagram page through ads? I've seen a few influencers do this. Is there value? I don't know. I mean, I think you should experiment. I think that I've seen influencers do it around sponsored posts, which can make some sense of just like trying to get a little more, attention on those sponsored posts. Brand would certainly be happy for you to promote a post that you are doing in conjunction with that brand. But, I think that's a question only you can answer and you can only find out the answer from data. So if you haven't advertised your page on Instagram, I don't see a reason not to. I think, understanding that it's kind of weird to advertise for your personal Instagram account, that is a strange concept because it isn't a product in the traditional sense of the word. I encourage you to have kind of like play around with it and have a sense of humor about it. Because I don't know if like an ad that's like, go to like Whiskey and Linen for daily fashion and whiskey inspiration. I don't really know that that's going to convert people. So you have to really think about that ad and think, what is it that's going to get people to click to go to your page to potentially follow you. So if you have something that you think is clever or interesting, I would say try it. It's pretty cheap. I think you can start with not a huge amount of money. So give it a whirl, see if it works. If it works, it might be worth investing heavier in. But you'll know pretty quickly if it's working. There's certainly a possibility that, you promoting your page could be seen as a little like tragic and people could be like a little turned off from your account because you're advertising, but like, I don't know, you're just a business owner. I mean, you're just trying to fucking make it work. I think that like you do yourself a disservice by not trying a lot of different things. So it's not going to permanently, affect you in a negative way. And it's probably not going to be the thing that really turns the corner for you. Like this is not going to be some catch-all amazing solution where all of a sudden you're able to like buy your way into 1,000 organic followers a week. That's just probably not going to happen, but it's worth experimenting with, if nothing else. So I say try it, see what happens. Let me know. So how do you set expectations before you work with a brand? And should you even be doing that? Is that your job? So I think when you work with a brand, your ability to understand what their goals are and come up with ways to hit them is the single best thing you can probably do for your business. You know, brands aren't always completely clear about what they want as far as communicating it, but they have an idea about what they want. And I think you should start the collaboration by having that conversation with the brand. What are your KPIs for this? Key performance indicators for those of you who don't work in offices. So what are your KPIs for this campaign? What are you trying to do? Are you trying to get sales? Are you trying to get Instagram followers? Are you trying to just get attention? Do you just want beautiful imagery? There are a number of different types of campaigns, and there are a number of different ways that you as an influencer can structure your content to help them reach those goals. But if they don't tell you what your goals are, and let's say their goal is they want Instagram followers, and you don't know that, and you do this beautiful inspirational post that makes the brand, puts the brand in a totally different light than they've been seen previously, but you don't drive followers to their account, the brand will be like, oh, that's a failure. So you have to understand first, what is the brand tracking? Like, what does success look like? And you can even ask that question to them. What does success look like to you at the end of this? What does a successful partnership look like to you? And they will generally be honest. Now, if they say, well, we'd certainly like a bunch of sales, and we also want to increase brand awareness, and we want to drive people to our Instagram page, and we want a bunch of beautiful content from it. I think you're okay to push back and be like, look, I can't do 5 things in one post. We need to really zero in on what the most important thing is, and certainly we hope we get secondary or tertiary benefits from doing this campaign, but you need to be able to understand what is the key performance indicator. What is the K in KPI? And you can be just as tragic as the rest of us who have to sit around talking about KPIs all day. No. So first is understanding that. Second is, I think certainly setting expectations and telling the brand exactly what you think is going to happen and how it's going to work is very helpful. If you say, okay, great, this post is due in 4 weeks, so if I get the product by next week, I'll be able to shoot it within that following week. I'll be able to get you, a preview of the post for approval within, 7 days before that post goes live. Now, if I don't get the product in time, that timeline is going to be pushed back. I just want you guys to understand that. So even something simple like that, of just laying out a very basic timeline, is so helpful for the brand, because if you just say oh yeah, I'll definitely be able to send previews through to you a week before, but they don't get you the product until 8 days before, well, now you're fucked, because they're saying, well, you told us that you were going to get me preview 7 days before, and you never mentioned anything about when you needed the product to be able to do that. So understanding your timelines and being able to communicate those to the brand up front makes it so that if something goes wrong, there is shared blame across you and the brand. Everybody knows where they're at. Everybody knows things are going to get pushed. Okay, now you're only going to see previews 3 days before, not 7 days before, and the brand can't get upset with you. So the ability to set expectations is massively helpful in making sure that those relationships continue to be good relationships. What else do I want to say about that? And you have to, as an influencer, you have to take responsibility for the success of these posts, and you have to make sure that this is working for the brand. And again, that they're trying to hit their KPIs, and being honest about what to expect from them or in the campaign is really important. If they come to you and say, okay, well, you've got, let's say, 50,000 followers, and they say, oh, well, we're really hoping that, with your Insta stories, we drive 2,000 visits to the site. You just be like, that's just never going to happen. And you need to be able to push back and say, I totally want to work with y'all, but if that's the metric, if that's what you're going for, I'm just going to let you know it's not going to happen. This is what I normally see as far as click-through rates on my Insta stories. This is the range of what we should expect. Now I'm going to hope to beat that and do better than I usually do, but I just want to let you know what to expect so that you're not disappointed. So being able to set expectations based both for how you're going to work and the timeline and what the performance of this post what they can expect for performance, and being able to understand their expectations is massively important We'll probably talk about this more in another episode because I think we haven't touched on it enough. But last question. If you're working through an agency, ad agency, PR agency, influencer agency, how can you get a relationship with the brand? Because if you're doing it through the agency, you're not actually getting direct contact with the brand. That's a great question, and a lot of agencies, not 4Card, but a lot of agencies try and silo influencers away from the brand because they want the brand to feel like they need to go through that agency to be able to work with that influencer. It's not the way we do things. If you ever work on a campaign with us and you want an introduction to the brand, we are more than happy to pass that along. In a lot of ways, we want to remove ourselves from that relationship so that you and the brand can work together. So that's why we're awesome. But if you're not working with 4Card, I think you can always ask. It might put them in a weird position of trying to skate around it on why they don't want to give you that contact. But one thing you could say is like, I'd like to send a thank you note. Could I get an email address to the person who's the brand rep? And it would be hard for them to say no. You can't send a thank you. So maybe structure it that way. Don't push too hard. Understand that the agency is there for a reason, and the brand has hired the agency for a reason. So once the brand, if you get that email and you send the thank you, don't push them too hard to try and work with them. If you have an idea for a collaboration, I would start by going to the agency, if that agency generally represents that brand, because you don't want to be seen to be jumping around the agency, because the agency might then be less willing to work with you in the future, thinking, oh, you're trying to go around us and cut us out of this relationship. So most people are totally reasonable. They'll give you that contact. Send the brand the email, tell them thank you, check in every 6 months or something, let them know you're still alive, send them some content. If you did a post for them organically, send it to the agency, but maybe also CC the brand person. You don't have to do much to let people know that you exist. And I wouldn't try and steal the relationship. But if you email the brand and they want to go to lunch with you, or they want to hang out, or they want a relationship with you, then you're totally fine. You should definitely pursue that. So it is possible. You shouldn't get too much pushback. But I find that wrapping it in hey, I want to say thank you, makes it harder for people to say no, because then they're kind of big assholes if they don't want people to get a thank you note. So that's the show. If you haven't bought tickets, what are you doing? You should definitely do that. Maybe I'll just make it so that you can only watch this show if you put the receipt number in from the ticket that you bought. Probably not, but maybe, who knows. Thank you as always. Keep the questions coming in. DM me, DM Tim, comment on one of my photos, send me an email, comment on the YouTube, send me a Facebook message. Don't send me a Twitter. I don't want to deal with you on Twitter, but anywhere else is perfect. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.